Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Welcome back, guys. INF here again, the Anime Armada. Another interview. We're here with Yaz, aka Yazzelberry.
Yep.
How's it going?
Good.
Good. Awesome. So we generally just like to kind of talk to people, find out like sort of like their inspirations, like why they do the things they do. You know, I saw that you do photography as well as like cosplay. You're a makeup artist as well.
I do makeup. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily like a professional makeup artist, but like I like doing it, so it's part of the cosplay.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, exactly. That's I saw you did the makeup for can't remember his name. My Hero character.
Oh, Dobby?
Dobby.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Vic actually helped me with that.
Oh, really?
So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see, what sort of cosplay? Because I noticed that you definitely have a lot of like video game, like comic characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, I kind of dabble in a little bit of everything. I'm just kind of nerdy overall, I think. So like I'll do like some anime. I've done like some like comic book heroes. I've done some game like characters like Sombra from Overwatch and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was really good.
Thank you.
That was really good.
Thank you.
What would you say is the hardest cosplay that you've done?
Ooh, the hardest.
Yeah.
I don't really think any of them are super hard that I've done so far. I definitely I overachieve like a lot. Like I always like am really like, oh my gosh, like I want to do this cosplay, and then like I try and figure it out, and I'm like, nope, can't do that. So that's out of my range right now. I'll work on that maybe later.
Oh, really? So do you have like something that you've like started and just like kind of got so far and was like, oh no, let me take a step back from this?
Yeah, or like I'll try and like have like other people sometimes like commission and like help with like other stuff. I wanted to, when they came out with Ash from Overwatch, like when they came out with her new character, I fell in love with her design. I thought it was super cute, and I fell in love with her giant gun.
Yeah.
Her giant fucking gun is amazing.
Yeah.
So like I was like, I really want to make that. Like I was doing research, I did all this like stuff, and then I was like, I'm not good at prop making. That's not something I've ever really been good at.
Yeah.
So I actually had a friend who like ended up 3D printing and ended up using their gun for pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. Yeah, it was super beautiful. But yeah, it was like way out of my range. I was like, that's something I'm gonna have to tackle later. But like, yeah, it was. I did enjoy kind of like trying to figure it out though.
Absolutely. So do you think it's kind of like a when you're going into making a cosplay, would you say there's sort of like a puzzle aspect? Like how am I gonna get this to fit with this, and how am I gonna make this kind of come together?
Yeah, for sure. It's you definitely need to have, I think, the mind to think from like a million different angles.
Yeah.
And different things, like there's sewing, there's the painting, there's the makeup, there's the props, there's like, if you do 3D printing, like that's like a whole nother thing, like
Absolutely.
And softwares and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a whole ass thing.
Yeah. And I think that's also why some people, they lean more towards like, oh, let me buy it.
Yeah.
Let me just save the time. I don't have the time to do that.
Yeah.
I don't have the skills to do that. Let me just go ahead and buy like the cosplay.
Yeah.
Did you start off like buying cosplay, or did you always kind of going like with a mix of kind of making?
I kind of do a mix. So my very, very, very first cosplay, I tried doing Shuri from Black Panther, but the comic book version.
Yeah.
So her outfit is like super cool. It's like really tribal and like really African. It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And I was really inspired by it. So like I wanted to do that as like my very first cosplay. It was not good at all because I didn't know how to sew at the time. I didn't know how to make props or do anything like that. So I literally bought like different like black outfit pieces. I ended up buying Black Panther's like mask, which like isn't the same as her mask in the comic at all.
Like,
So it's completely different. But I was like, it works, and like she, has like this gorgeous, beautiful hair, like long hair, and like my hair was long at the time before I shaved it all off. So like I kind of was like, I'll just use my natural hair because I didn't know anything about wig commissions or wig making at all. So it was a sad attempt. I'm not gonna lie. It was very sad. Like people would like come up to me. They're like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "I'm Shuri." And they're like, "Who?" And I'm like, like it was But then, kind of my second cosplay for that weekend was Shigo. And I completely bought her, like, I just bought the outfit, I bought the wig, like, I got the face paint and stuff like that, which also was that was a disaster, too. I didn't know how to apply face, like, body paint, so that was, like, a whole disaster, too. But it was a lot of fun. I definitely was a little redeeming that, like, people, you know, knew who I was, and, like, you know,
especially right off the heels of...
Yeah, like, who are you? So, like, I was kind of nice that I was like, I did then a character that people were like, Shigo! And I'm like, yes!
This is...
people recognize me! So that was kind of nice, but yeah. So I do a little both now. Like, I'll, like, buy things, I'll kind of alter them. Sometimes, like, because my sewing skills aren't, you know, like, where I want them to be, so, like, if it's, like, a crazy style costume, I'll just... I'll be like, you know what, let me just buy it.
Just get that one.
Let me just get that one. Like, and there's no shame in that. Like,
no, not at all. Not at all. I think, like, ultimately, because I do know there tends to be those two camps where it's like, you know, it's fine to buy it, or no, you're not cosplaying unless you make it. You know, which is kind of ridiculous. Yeah. And I think, like, ultimately it's more so just about, like, the enjoyment one gets out of portraying, like, dressing up as these characters and portraying these characters.
Exactly. It's just, it's fun. Like, because, like, you're, especially when, if you've grown up with a lot of the characters that you cosplay, like, you idolize some of these people, so then, you know, you put on, like, you know, that outfit, and you kind of feel like them, and you kind of want to act like them, and, you know, like, you get that confidence that, like, that character might have, or, like, it's kind of empowering to be able to be that character that, especially if you, like, idolize those characters, or, like, you know, love those characters, like, it's nice, and it's just, like, sometimes it's nice to just kind of step back from being who you are and be somebody else, and
it absolutely is, and it's so much fun, especially, you know, like when you're at a con with friends and stuff. It's just it's such a great experience. We had a blast last year, hitting cons, and it was but it's as soon as the cons start up again, like that's gonna be we're gonna be back out there. Because I mean I think largely like everybody in the anime community misses cons. Well, those that went and those that were trying to go. Because not everybody's into it.
Yeah, I mean I know for me cons are kind of my like escape from reality. So I just like I take a weekend off. Like at my phone, like I'm not really on it unless it's like to take pictures and like get with friends and and a lot like some of the cons are like big like party cons, so it's like you just like drink and get loose and just kind of have fun and like it's just like a good getaway. Like
it is like a much needed break, especially I feel like we need cons now more than ever because this shit is bananas.
Yeah, for sure. It's been rough. It's been a rough year.
Without cons.
Without cons, it's been a rough year. And it's like, I think for a lot of people, cosplaying is a form of, like, it's an outlet to, you know, get that, like, frustration out of, like, your daily life and whatever. And, you know, creating things, like, having that, like, that creative based hobby is really important, I think, for a lot of people. So,
absolutely.
Not having that and not being inspired to like not having that goal to be like, oh, I have a con coming up and and you know and then not being able to release that creative outlet, I think has been really hard on people. I know it's been really hard on me. So because I'm very much like that.
Yeah, and that's something I think that like as I've been like seeing like cosplayers Instagrams and stuff, that's something that they've absolutely expressed. It's just like, well, you know, now I don't quite have that same drive to make these cosplays. Just because, like, I don't have that looming con on the horizon. Like, nobody knows when the next con they're actually going to be able to go to it.
Exactly,
You know? At this point, I'm like, it's going to be next year.
Yeah.
It's going to be next summer, maybe.
Who knows,
if
just,
we don't get it together.
Just wear your masks, people! Wear your masks! But,
absolutely. Okay, so, do you remember how you got into anime?
Kind of.
Or do you remember what like your first anime was, or like first like big experience with anime was?
I'd say it started young, like probably like middle school, maybe kind of like late elementary school. My brother's a little older than me, so he I guess was kind of into some of that stuff. So he kind of introduced me to like anime and like manga and stuff like that. I would say the first anime I think I really remember like watching and being like really into was Inuyasha.
Yeah.
So I used to like.
No, yeah.
So like because it would, but like the running time, because I think it was what it would run on. Was it?
It would come on like Adult Swim.
Yeah,
or
Adult
Toonami
Swim.
or-
Yeah. So it was like later at night, and it's like my parents were like, "You can't stay up that late," like no. And so I literally would set my alarm. Like I'd go to bed at like whatever time my parents like made me go to bed. I'd set my alarm for like 5-10 minutes before the show would start, and then I'd like sneak into the other room, turn on the TV, watch the episode. Like watch the episode, and then like sneak back into bed, and I'd go like wake up tired the next day, and my mom's like, "Why are you so tired?" I'm like, "I don't know."
The pillow just wasn't as comfy last night, but.
And then I think because when I was younger, I'd say I was way more into manga than I was into anime, because I didn't really, because like the shows would be a lot later.
Yeah,
at night. So, I think the first manga I had was it was only like a 3-book series, and I think it was called Diablo. To be perfectly honest, I don't really remember much about what it was about. It was kind of like these, I think like demon hunters, or kind of like these 2 like guy demon hunters, and then I think at the end of the 3-book series they fell in love, and I kind of was just like, what? Like, where did that come from? Like it was like they were just fighting the entire time, and then they were like, yeah, like, let's be together forever. And I was like,
make love, not war.
Sure, I was like, all right, cool. So, but that was kind of like, I think the first like book I kind of had. Yeah. And then I ended up into like more of like the slice of life stuff, and like the more romance stuff, and so then I was like really into that. I was super into Fruits Basket. Like that. I read a good portion of the manga, and then I found out that there was the anime. So then I watched the anime. Worst idea of my life. It was horrible. It ruined it for me. I didn't even finish the series, like the manga series, because I was like, I watched the show and I was like, this is it. That's it.
So I actually just heard. It might have literally been like a day or two ago. Yesterday. Okay. I wasn't aware of, because I've heard a lot about Fruits Baskets. I've never seen it. I've never read the manga.
Yeah.
I heard
Friday. That's when I was getting my tattoo done.
That's right. I heard that like ultimately like the anime is different from the manga. Like apparently there's a whole character whose gender is completely changed.
Yeah, so it's the storyline. Do you know anything? Like, do you know the storyline kind of at all?
Ish.
Okay, so basically it's about like this like sweet high school girl. She basically is homeless. Like her mom ends up dying. She doesn't want to be a burden on like her grandparents and like her other family. So she basically is kind of like living homeless, like in like the forest, like not the forest, like the woods. Yeah. So one of her classmates ends up like finding her, like, and just kind of like, what are you doing? Like, at least stay with us for like a little bit, and type of thing. She ends up finding like the big family secret is that a bunch of members in the family are possessed by the spirits of the zodiac. Yeah. And then when they get hugged by the opposite gender, or like touched by the opposite gender, they turn into that animal. So it's always kind of funny because like she'll ended up like accidentally bumping into the men of like the family, and then like they'll turn into the animal, and then when they turn back into human, then they're like completely naked, and it's like, oh my god, like, you know. So but then so it's a whole thing that, because this is such a big family secret, people outside of the family aren't supposed to know, so it's like really taboo that she knows. And so kind of the series kind of unfolds that that she's meeting all the different members of the zodiac and ends up developing like a relationship with them, because it's like it's so special that like there's somebody outside the family, but also the head of the family is very manipulative and kind of emotionally abusive towards a lot of the members of the other zodiac. So like that's like a big thing kind of in the show as well. So it just kind of like goes along like the development of like her meeting the family and
and how those relationships develop.
So it's powerful in that sense that like you're seeing like the different family members and like how like it touches on like abuse and like, you know, kind of getting away from that abuse and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a heartwarming kind of show. And then there's another part of the storyline is that apparently there's a year of the cat, which so the story kind of goes is that that he wanted to be like the main members of the Zodiac, but the rat like kind of tricked him out of being it, and so like they have like this like rival, and like he tries to like redeem himself, and he's trying to like fight his way to get like noticed because he's kind of like the outcast of the family.
Yeah,
And it's
like
like
the
so like
black
that's like a
sheep.
whole so that's like a whole kind of thing too, which so it's really it is a good show, like, and the manga is good. The manga is good. The original anime show is not good because they just basically blow through all of like the important parts of the show. So it's like they kind of like touch on like, you know, like how she meets the family. It kind of touches on like the mental and like emotional abuse like that some of the family members endure, and then that's it. But it's kind of touches on it, and then like some characters fall in love, and then that's like it.
Yeah,
and it's
just
just like
breezes
it's really
over.
it's like because it's I think only like a 25 episode like one season type of thing.
Yeah.
So now they have like the reboot, and the reboot is supposed to go it's supposed to follow like way more in depth with the manga and really touch more into all the relationships and it's I'm hoping it's way better. The artwork is already way better. It's phenomenal. So
I heard that they did actually try to get like a lot of the old cast back to do the parts. Yeah. Which I think that's kind of pretty cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a whole lot of anime remakes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood are kind of like the ones that come to mind first. Yeah. You know, but I didn't even watch FMA until after Brotherhood ended. Like I watched them back to back.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I kind of get confused with like that personally. I'm like I didn't mind watching it. Like I think I watched the original first. Yeah. And I was kind of confused. Like and then I ended up watching Brotherhood because I guess I thought Brotherhood was supposed to be like a sequel. Mm-hmm. And it's like more of like a remake. It's more like it's the remake. So I was like watching it, but it was a lot of similar things that like I saw. Yes. So I'm literally watching it, and I was like, "What?" I was like, I watched all of this already."
Until it completely hooks left.
Yeah.
And then everything's completely different.
Yeah, and so I was like confused. So I was like, I don't think I understand this whatsoever until way later that I kind of realized like, oh, it's a remake. It's not meant to be a sequel.
It's not the exact same. Exactly. Because it's really right at the beginning. They're almost exactly
identical.
The same. Yeah. I think there's some stuff that the first one stretches out a little bit more, whereas Brotherhood just kind of like speeds past it. Yeah. Like there's a fight with a specific alchemist that I don't remember right now, which took like an episode or two in the original. Yeah. But then in Brotherhood, it was like a clip in a montage.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So, and I thought it was kind of interesting because, like, if you did see FMA, then you sort of had an idea of the events that happened in the space of time that they sort of sped through in Brotherhood. Yeah. You know. Yeah. But ultimately, Brotherhood, in my opinion, is the better of the two. Yeah. Not that FMA wasn't good. Brotherhood was just better. Yeah. Yeah. And apparently that one follows the manga.
Yeah. More. Better. Yeah. Which is, I always kind of wondered why they don't do that a little more, like why they just kind of like it's like when they have like a book and then they make it into a movie adaptation and it's just like, well, the book is always better. It's like, yeah, because there's more information in the book. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Excuse me.
No.
Okay, I'll get going. Sorry, I ruined this. This is over now. But yeah, it's just like I know that there's a lot to like pack into obviously like a series. Exactly. But like if it's like a show or a series, like you have that room to add all of that extra information. So it's like I don't get why they don't do that.
Yeah.
So but I mean I get it, like budgets and like I get it. I get why they do it, but it's just it's just a little frustrating because it's like I feel like sometimes there are series that people respond really well to, and then they're just like, nope, that's it, only season, and it's like, but you have the funding, I'm sure people enjoy it.
Oh yeah. No, that's what comes to mind, and this isn't specifically anime, but like when I think of stuff like that, I think of Game of Thrones. Yeah. Like the ending for that was rushed. Like apparently HBO and George R.R. Martin were both like, hey, if you guys want to go a couple more seasons, we can do that. We can make that happen. And they were like, no, bro, we got this. Yeah. We got this. No, they didn't have it. Do you guys watch it?
No, I haven't watched it. I know I'm like a terrible person for not watching it. I always got a lot of shit for it. But it's one of those things, like, I like sometimes watching series when they're all done. So, like,
Yeah.
it's one of the, so, like, I kind of already know, like, spoilers and whatnot.
Yeah. Stuff that's
Yeah.
big like that. You can't
But
avoid.
what I heard about what I did hear, I think, about that last season was that, cause what, they had that break, right? Like, they had, like, that 2-3 year break, like, there was, like, the one season.
We ended up waiting a little bit
Yeah,
longer than
yeah,
normal.
and it's like they had, like,
Yeah.
a couple years to do really well with the last season, so that's why a lot of people were disappointed.
Yeah.
Because it's like you had all this time to perfect it. Like, literally they had time to perfect it, and then they just
Yeah.
rushed it, the Starbucks thing, and just you know, like sloppy. It was just sloppy.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly,
like there's no
exactly.
reason why it should have been nearly as sloppy as it was.
Yeah. And I think about, like, because, I mean, I've never produced a show. You know, I don't know what goes into that stuff. And I understand there's things that they have to think about, especially when it's something like an anime that's based off of manga. And if the manga's not done, they're like, well, we can only go so fast.
Yeah.
And that's how you end up with whole filler arcs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which definitely have mixed feelings about, you know.
Yeah, they can be fun sometimes.
So, yeah.
Like, every once in a while. Like.
Yeah, but it's like, why am I, for instance, I always think of the original series of Naruto.
Yes.
So,
I was
like-
just thinking that. I was just thinking that. I was like, Naruto.
The whole.
Yeah.
I want to say it's like it's something like episode 135's in the original series.
I'm impressed that you like.
There's
You're
one-
like, yeah, episode this. Like, there's like so many.
It sticks in my head like that. I'm so irked about that it sticks in my head. Like, I can't let go of
It
it.
annoys you
I
that
can't,
much.
exactly. Why? This whole, you gave us like 90 episodes, legitimately 90 straight episodes of filler.
Yeah.
Like, what? So, and I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that whole. So after that fight where Naruto fights Sasuke,
Yeah.
in the original series, I skipped to Shippuden.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what the manga does. That whole 90 episodes after that.
Yeah, so
I have
when
no idea what happens.
I remember when I was like watching through all of Naruto, and yeah, I guess it was probably those 90 episodes, and I just kept, because like I kept watching all the episodes because I was like, all right, like one of these episodes is gonna get back to the storyline, and it just never did.
Nope.
And I was like, I'm like literally sitting there, and I'm like, what is happening? I'm like, I just want to get back to the fighting. Like, oh yeah, no, yeah.
By the way, Shippuden.
And then it's like all of a sudden Shippuden, and I'm like, that was a waste of like a week of my life.
It's like, that's okay. That's
I'm never gonna get that week back. I'm never gonna get it back.
Have you ever seen Gantz?
No.
That's an interesting one. I haven't read a ton of manga. It's weird. Like I've been really into anime, but also American comic books. But I've not so much manga. I've read a couple of manga. Gantz being one of the few that I've read like the full thing of.
Okay.
And that's one that it's really odd for me because I really loved the anime, which made me read the manga. But then I realized that the manga goes way further than the anime. The anime it's cut so short, things barely develop at all. And that always frustrated me. But then the manga seems to go too long. Like the end of it gets really outlandish, and it's just not quite. It didn't grasp me the way it did like in the earlier chapters.
Yeah.
You know. And then there's live action movies for it, which go further than the anime, but not as far as the manga.
Oh,
so it
it's
kind of
just all-
exists in all these little in betweens.
Okay.
It's really interesting. If you ever like watch the series or read the manga or see the live action movies, there's even a CG movie which takes place in a random place, like in the middle of all of it. But it's really cool because it's really, the place they chose to put it is really self-contained.
Okay.
And so it actually fits really well as a standalone story in the huge sequence of events that caused them to get there. But Gantz has just been like really fascinating to me in that they were able to pull all these sort of different stories, and it's interesting. If you ever get a chance to check it out,
look it up.
it's really friggin' interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
What sort of anime do you tend to do you have like favorite genres?
I'm kind of a sucker for like romance like things, so anything that has even just like a hint of
Just a
romance.
little
Just like I just need it like sprinkled in there. Like it could be literally like the bloodiest, like grossest anime. Like like everybody's head could be like getting chopped off or anything. And it's like as long as there's like like two characters in the background, they're just like, I love you. It's like I love you too. I'm like, yes, I'm beautiful. I'm a sucker for like any kind of like romantic like thing. But I mean, I'm pretty open for like a lot. Like I one of my favorites actually is One Punch Man.
Yes. Yes.
And like realistically, like there's like no romance in it whatsoever. But like I really enjoy it. Like I really enjoy it. Like it's just, it's fun. Like it's fun.
It really is.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think of like it's one of those times where it's like the teacher's like, oh, like you know the answer and you just blank and you're like, and then like 20 minutes later you're like, fuck, I knew that answer.
That's
like, like that's what I'm doing right now. But I don't really I wouldn't say I necessarily have like a specific one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, growing up, I'm like thinking of what the fuck did I watch? And I'm like, what's that? I never know how to pronounce it. The Host Club. Yeah. I've never ever in my life, I think, ever pronounced that correctly. So I'd rather not try. I don't know why. Like I look at the word and my mouth it's just like stops moving. Like it's just like Host Club. Just the Host Club. Like I was super into that. Like growing up, like I thought that was like a super cute anime. Nana. I don't know if you ever. I loved Nana. That one was like when I found out that there was anime that wasn't super like superheroes and like superpowers and like that like all this like crazy shit happening all the time, like when there was like literally just like everyday like
slice of life
slice of life stuff, like I was like mind blown. I was like, what, there's anime that's just like everyday people? Great.
There's anime for everybody. There's so many different, there's sports anime
which I've never gotten into.
No. Me either. And that's like, I get some people love it. But I'm just like, I can't.
I know. Well, that volleyball one is like volleyball.
Yeah, it's like Haikyuu or something.
That one's like super popular right now, and like people love it. Like apparently the character development is amazing, and like everything.
Those people.
And I'm just like, and I look at it and I'm like, I want to get into it, but then I'm just like, but sports. But I have to watch just scenes of like dramatic like like, and I'm just like, I can't right now, I can't. But I know, but I'm sure it's great. Like I'm sure one day I'll finally take the plunge and I'll be like, I'm gonna watch this, and I'm like, at the end of the week I'm gonna be crying and be like, guys, these are my lords and saviors. Like I need a religion solely for these men now. Like
I just bought new sheets with their faces on
it. Like everything with their faces on it. Definitely. But or Food Wars is another one that I just like. I know it's great. I know it's super great. I have not been able to take that plunge yet.
That's one that we actually, well, more so you. I watched like the first couple episodes, but he's been through like the whole. Did you catch up completely?
I caught up completely.
Yeah. Like and that was during quarantine.
During quarantine, and it actually spawned off a food challenge that we started doing.
Oh, really?
And stuff. So I really like made some crazy stuff because of that show.
Yeah. But it's kind of cool, like when anime can inspire you in that way. I think that there's a lot to do you know much fun. Do you have like
I've been having that this entire time.
Do you have like does any thing come to mind like that you've really like taken away from anime that's like inspired you and like changed you like throughout your life?
I'd say just kind of being who you are. Like just like like not being like I'm not gonna apologize for being who I am. Like because like a lot of especially like the more mainstream animes definitely have like those messages of like be who you are, like don't like apologize for yourself, like like you need your friends to support you, and like that is like just like super true, like
absolutely.
Like sometimes you need that reminder, like even as an adult, like like you just need that reminder of like, hey, like I just need my friends, like I'm just gonna do me, and I'm and that's all I need, like I just need like my support system and I can do anything type of thing.
Absolutely. So, and I think that it's like well, I guess on a couple of like, it's interesting to me that first of all that message is coming out of like anime, which is like largely like made in Japan. And Japanese culture is very much fall in line, even though like these messages are constantly be yourself. So it's like, how does that dichotomy work out? Like I've never quite like thought too much about it, but it's interesting that the message is individuality, but
Yeah.
the culture in and of itself is very much.
Funny that you bring that up because I actually watched something. It's actually on Netflix, a Netflix special that they did on anime in Japan. And
Oh,
so
the Enter
forth.
the anime.
Exactly. And one of the things that they were talking about is for a culture that's very so strict and in line, and everything's so school focused for kids to the point where they go to school almost all year. They have like mini breaks instead of us where we actually have like a full summer break.
Yeah.
They do like a lot of mini breaks. And it's very like, hey, this is what's your future? Are you pushing your future? What college you going to? You test to get into high school, you test to get into college. So for a very strict line thing, they look at anime and anime culture as almost a rebellion, to the point where it is that acceptable rebellion from their strict get in line culture and stuff. And they kind of delve a little bit deeper into that than what I just said, but it's very interesting the contrast between the two.
Yeah. It's kind of like their form of propaganda, like.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it kind of explains why it's like anime goes to such an extreme, because it's the extreme opposite of their strictness. So it creates that nice little balance between the two.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
And I've never finished watching that. I definitely watched like maybe half of it, but I never finished
Well,
it.
get on it.
I got it.
You gotta be more prepared for this interview.
Oh, jeez.
And we are going to go ahead and end that there. That's just half of the interview. Please be sure to like and subscribe so that you can get the notification in 2 weeks when we return with the second half. We'll see you next time.